Skoda as a brand is known for its sedans, and as you may well know, their sedans are quite brilliant. So now when Skoda wanted to get into the premium SUV game, they simply had to do it properly, and that is exactly where the Kodiaq comes into the picture. The Skoda Kodiaq was first launched in the global market in 2016 and we in India got it in 2018. In 2020, it got a slight facelift and then it got discontinued thanks to the BS6 emission norms, and now after a 2-year hiatus, the Kodiaq is back in India. Hello and welcome to DriveSpark. I'm Stephen Neal and this is the Skoda Kodiaq 2022 model. So what changes are there on this model? Of course, it's got a new powertrain, it's got fancy suspension and a lot of new features. So let's go and take a look at what this SUV has to offer. Let's go for a drive. Welcome to the super premium interior of the all-new Skoda Kodiaq. Before we talk about how this SUV feels to drive and what features it has and this interior, let's start by talking about the design of this SUV, because there are a few changes that the 2022 model has when compared to the older 2020 model that was discontinued. So let's talk about the design up front. So you've got the new headlamp design. It's sleeker, it's got Skoda's crystalline LED technology, so it's a full LED setup. It looks pretty fancy, it's sleek, it gives the SUV a brilliant design overall. There are a few other design changes on the front end of the SUV, and let's talk about some of them, starting with the hood. So the bonnet is now redesigned, so it is a little higher, and that gives the SUV a little bolder look, a little more muscular stance. And also adding to that stance is the imposing new grille. So Skoda's butterfly grille, the signature Skoda design, has made it to this SUV as well, and it's pretty imposing. It looks beefier, it's got vertical slats on it, it's got a chrome outline, really thick piece of chrome that is, and even the vertical slats have chrome elements in them. It gives the front end a rather premium touch, which buyers of this variant, the L&K, would really love. Now going lower on the front end, you've got a redesigned bumper. It's a reworked bumper. It looks more aggressive. It's got more cuts and creases. It's more angular in design. So the overall front end of the SUV looks really nice. Now moving over to the side. The side profile has changed a little bit. The overall silhouette on the side profile of the Skoda Kodiaq remains similar to the outgoing model, the older model. However, there are a few changes, biggest one of which are the new alloy wheels. So this one rides on 18-inch alloy wheels, just like the older Skoda Kodiaq did, but now it's a different design. So this one, the L&K variant, which is a top-end model, gets dual-tone premium looking alloy wheels. The other two variants which are there, the Style and the Sportline, both get different designed alloy wheels. So that's pretty good job from Skoda, giving different variants different alloy wheels just to differentiate them. Now since we are on the topic of variants, let me run you through the variants real quick. So you've got Style, which is the base variant, starting at a price of rupees 34.99 lakh, and then you've got the Sportline, which is a mid variant. It's a sporty of all three variants, and that has a price tag of 35.99 lakh. And then you've got this, the L&K, which is a top spec, and this one retails at 37.49 lakh. All these are ex-showroom prices, of course. Now coming back to the design, now let's move to the rear end. So at the rear, the Skoda Kodiaq comes with redesigned tail lamp. There are very few changes in fact, but the tail lamp is the biggest change. It's become more angular, sleeker, and also you've got the redesigned bumper. It's refreshed, it looks more beefier, and then you've got few design changes, few more subtle design elements on the rear as well. So that includes the Skoda lettering on the tailgate. You also got the 4 exhaust outlets in the rear bumper. So the actual exhaust outlet is beneath the bumper, which is not seen exactly until you look under, but yeah, so that's a good design element. It would have been greater if Skoda would have given us actual twin exhaust outlets in the bumper itself. Now that brings an end to the design bit of the Skoda Kodiaq. Now let's come to the interior of the Skoda Kodiaq. This is a pretty premium place to be in. It's got dual tone interior, and this being the top end model comes with a lot of features. Let me run you through all of them real quick, starting off with the overall upholstery on the Kodiaq. It feels really premium. So on the dashboard right up top, you've got more premium leather upholstery, and then in between you've got this super classy piano black finish running throughout the dashboard. And of course you've got the AC vents, etc. The AC vents get chrome surrounds, which make it look really premium as well. And in the center you've got the infotainment system. It's an 8-inch infotainment system. The overall layout looks pretty big, but the actual screen size is just 8 inches. It could have been bigger at this price bracket for this big an SUV, but yeah, that's what you get. And then you've got the controls for the air conditioning and other vehicle related electronics on the center console. We'll come back to that in just a bit. Let's talk about the upholstery now. So you've got the dashboard, as I said, you've got the piano black finish in the center, and at the bottom of the dashboard, the bottom half is finished in beige, and so are the seats. These seats are super cool. They are perforated leather seats finished in beige, and you see the same dual tone theme being followed on the door as well. You've got soft touch plastics on the door. So the door panel, you've got the black finish on top, and then you've got the beige finish in between, and well, that brings an end to the design theme or the color theme of the door. Now there are a few elements on the door that I want to draw attention to, starting with the Canton speakers. So you've got 4 different range speakers on this very door, and also on the passenger side door. That makes 8 speakers in total, and on the rear doors you've got 2 each, so that makes 12 speakers. This is a premium audio system from Canton. It sounds really nice. 12 speakers, 625 watts, and well, we tried it at maximum volume and there was no distortion whatsoever. So kudos to Skoda for giving us this premium audio experience. Now coming back to what powers the speakers on the door. So you've got this 8-inch infotainment system, like I said. Now this one comes with a lot of features. The size may be small, but it is packed with features. So you've got lots of tech in here, and you can control all your vehicle settings through this screen, including the drive modes, the suspension settings, and well, a whole lot more, including the ambient lighting in this car. So you've got ambient lighting as well. You've got other features that this audio system, this infotainment system allows you to use. Let's start off with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It's pretty simple to connect your phone. We connected our phone via Android Auto, and it was pretty simple to use the interface. You can use navigation either based on your phone, or you got system based navigation as well. So that is a good thing that is there on this SUV. This infotainment system also allows you to use the Skoda My Connect suite. So the Skoda My Connect suite allows you to track the vehicle on your phone, so you can do real-time tracking, real-time speed tracking, geofencing, etc. You can also control your window lock, AC, etc. from your smartphone. So that's a whole lot of features coming in from this unit. Now let me bring you to another screen that is present on this car, which is a large 10.25-inch instrument cluster that is there right in front of me here. So this virtual cockpit, as Skoda calls it, you've got lots of customization options. You can choose your layout, you can add navigation, you can add maps. So in between the dials of the tachometer and the speedometer, you can choose to have navigation as well, which is a really good feature. And you can choose other settings as well to be displayed on the instrument cluster. So that is a good thing. So this screen allows the driver not to take his eyes off the road and focus completely on driving, which is a good thing. Now let's get to the center console. As I said, you've got lots of buttons on here for the air conditioning system. So you've also got the buttons for the park assist and the 360-degree camera. You can turn the engine auto start stop off, etc. from here. So what is park assist? Well, it's a feature wherein the car will park itself automatically. So if you're pulled up to a parking zone and you hit the button and you are going through and the car senses that there is an available parking space, it signals you on the screen, and all you have to do is stop and let go of the steering wheel and put it in reverse gear, and it will reverse itself into that parking spot. You don't even have to touch the steering wheel, it does it on its own. So that's a super cool feature to have too. This car also gets an excellent 360-degree camera. You can get an all-around view. You've got different views that you can control via the infotainment system again, and well, that brings an end to that. Below the switches, you've got a small cubby hole wherein you can place your phone, and there is also a wireless charger in there, along with 2 Type-C outlets to charge your smartphone or any other gadget if you have. Behind that, you've got the gear lever, and also you've got the buttons to change the drive modes. So you have your mode button right here, and that allows you to switch between the different modes on this car, which are eco, comfort, normal, sport, individual, and even snow. Don't forget this car has 4-wheel drive, and that brings us to another button. You got an off-road button on here, which brings up a virtual screen over here that shows you the degree of steer on both your front wheels, and then you've also got a compass on here, which is a super cool feature to have if you're going exploring. And then you've got the traction control button out here and the electronic parking brake. That brings an end to the center console. You also got your cubby hole here, so under your armrest, so you lift up your armrest and well, there's your cubby hole to store whatever knickknacks you're carrying around. Now finally, let's talk about the steering wheel, which is a big change in here. So this is a 2-spoke steering wheel. Skoda has moved to 2-spoke steering wheels. In recent times, all Skoda products we have seen have got 2-spoke steering wheels, except on the Kodiaq Sportline variant, which is the mid-range variant, you get a 3-spoke flat bottom steering wheel. This is not a flat bottom, it's a more premium 2-spoke unit. Now since we're already on the topic of steering, let's get to how this car drives. So the Skoda Kodiaq is now powered by a 2.0 liter turbo-petrol engine. This engine is very familiar to all Skoda enthusiasts. It's also present on other Skoda models, and now it powers the Kodiaq. Now we get only a turbo-petrol. Now remember, the older version of the Kodiaq was powered by only a turbo diesel. There was no petrol engine option, and now we only have a petrol engine option. There's no diesel anymore. So this turbo-petrol, let's get to it. Specs. What does it put out? It has a maximum power output of 190 PS, which equates to around 187.4 bhp, and it puts out 320 Nm of torque, and that, as you may imagine, results in explosive performance. So how fast does this car go? Well, it does 0 to 100 km per hour in just 7.2 seconds, and that is pretty quick for a car this big. This engine comes mated to a 7-speed DSG transmission, which is equally brilliant when it comes to the performance. So how good is it actually at performing? Right now we have it in the D mode, which is automatic. So let me switch to manual and see how this car performs, and also let me put in sport mode, and let me floor the throttle for a bit, and it just takes off, and in just a short span of time we touch 100 kilometers per hour just like that. So they weren't kidding when they said 7.2 seconds. So this car is pretty quick. It drives well as well. We've been driving the Kodiaq around for quite some time now, and it's a pleasure to drive. Now we've got it in manual mode, as I told you, and I'm using the flappy paddle gearbox. So how cool is that? I'm driving a tall SUV, and it doesn't feel as tall as it actually is because it handles well. Skoda has really got their handling sorted out with this SUV, and I'll give you a reason for that. This SUV is equipped with dynamic chassis control, which means that this car is sensing every bit of road that we're driving on, whether it's pothole ridden or it's got lots of curves on it, and well, it adjusts the system, the suspension, to suit accordingly. So the suspension basically has active damping, and that changes every millisecond. So well, it's monitoring the terrain you're driving on, and that allows you to have brilliant handling despite this SUV being so tall and weighing so much. Now we've been driving this SUV around in sport mode for quite some time. It's time to quieten down and put it in comfort mode, and that brings me to the comfort in this vehicle. So just how comfortable is the all-new Skoda Kodiaq? Well, one switch to comfort and things change drastically. The engine is now revving pretty low, and moving away from the engine, let's get to how comfortable the seating is. So as I said earlier, these are perforated leather seats, and they are also cool and heated. So you get both options in the Skoda Kodiaq in India, which is super cool because it's very rare that you get to see heated seats, especially in this neck of the woods, in this price bracket. So well, you've got your cool seats, and then these seats are really comfortable as well. The bolstering is really good. It's electronically adjustable, so you can change your lumbar support, your thigh support, everything. So it's electronically adjustable, and also you've got the memory function on both the driver and passenger seat. Coming to the second row, things change a little here. Yes, it still is very comfortable. However, you do not get top spec features like the driver and passenger do. Leg space is decent, you've got decent knee room, head room, also you've got good thigh support, back support, etc. The seats can be moved forward and backwards and can be reclined just a little. The seats can also be folded flat completely, which is a good thing in case you're intending to take on a lot of luggage. And well, what other features do the passengers in the second row get? You get blinds on the doors, so that's another good thing, and also you've got AC vents. This SUV comes with a 3-zone climate control system, so one for the driver, another for the front passenger, and another for the second row. So the passengers in the second row can choose what temperature they want the air conditioning to be at. And that brings us to the third row, which is, well, almost non-existent. Now this is a 7-seater SUV, however the third row is best reserved only for children, and even for children it just might be a little cramped up. There is barely any knee room, and also headroom is alright, it's manageable, but the knee room is not great at all. Also, the third row doesn't get any other features. You only get one cup holder for the passenger on the left side. The right side passenger doesn't even get a cup holder. And that brings us to the end of the comfort for the passengers in the Skoda Kodiaq. Now, boot space with all the seats up is 270 liters, which is pretty decent. And with the third row folded down, it goes up to just over 600 liters. And with both the third row and second row folded down, the luggage hauling capacity is 2005 liters, which is pretty good. Finally, we come to one of the features that you can't miss. This SUV has got a large panoramic sunroof, the controls for which are located right here, and well, it's pretty easy to operate and gives you a good view of what's upstairs. And those were our impressions of the Skoda Kodiaq, the all-new 2022 model. It is a pretty nice place to be in. It drives well, the suspension is brilliant, this engine and gearbox combination is just awesome, and well, at this price it gives you a lot of features that even a car above this segment still does not offer. So kudos to Skoda for bringing us this SUV at this price and relaunching the Kodiaq in the Indian market. India has a massive automotive market, and it is also one of the largest SUV markets in the world. In a sea of SUVs, if there is an SUV that can leave a lasting impression on you, that SUV is good, and the Skoda Kodiaq certainly leaves a lasting impression on you. If you don't believe me, take a test drive and you'll know what exactly I'm talking about. That's it from us for now. Do let us know in the comments below what you think of the new Skoda Kodiaq, and well, also let us know if you have some doubts or queries about this SUV, and we will make sure to inform you in the comments below. Thank you for watching. This is Stephen Neal signing off for DriveSpark. Stay safe and drive safe.